last session, we started with History Chapter 1, that is Historiography Development in the West. And we defined what is historiography, which comes as a 2-mark answer. We also defined the 4 different features or characteristics of historiography, which comes as a 3-mark answer. So let us continue with the chapter. Now, prior to the 18th century, or you can say before the 18th century, all the universities in Europe, they were interested in only discussions about the divine phenomenon. डिवाइन फिनोमिनन का मतलब होता है गॉड एंड रिलीजन. तो सारे यूनिवर्सिटीज सिर्फ गॉड और रिलीजन के बारे में डिस्कशंस करने में बिजी थे. दे डिड नॉट वांट टू डिस्कस अबाउट हिस्ट्री और पॉलिटिकल साइंस और पॉलिटिक्स. दे वर बिजी डिस्कसिंग अबाउट गॉड एंड रिलीजन. ऑल दिस चेंज्ड इन 1737. तो क्या हुआ 1737 में? 1737 में जर्मनी में एक यूनिवर्सिटी फॉर्म हुई थी एंड द नेम ऑफ दिस यूनिवर्सिटी वॉज the Göttingen University. And this particular university, for the very first time, had an independent department of history. That means historical studies gradually started. And copying the Göttingen universities, many other universities in Europe, they also started having independent departments of history. And gradually over a period of time, many universities became very important centers of historical studies. इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि कॉलेजेस में और क्लासरूम्स में हिस्ट्री टीचिंग स्टार्ट हो गया. नहीं, हिस्ट्री एट दैट टाइम was only a subject for research, for higher studies. We will see in the coming sessions who was that particular philosopher who was responsible for introducing historical teachings or teaching of history as a subject in schools and colleges. In short, we will see who was that person who was responsible for the misery of thousands of students all over the world. क्योंकि आप लोग को अभी स्कूल में कॉलेज में हिस्ट्री पढ़ना पड़ता है, वो भी देखेंगे हम लोग. ठीक है. Now let us start with the different philosophers. We will be studying 6 different philosophers, and each of these philosophers can come as a 2-mark or a 3-mark question in your papers. तो फर्स्ट पे आते हैं. द फर्स्ट इंपॉर्टेंट फिलोसोफर, हिज नेम इज रेने देकार. क्या नाम है उनका? रेने देकार. एंड रेने देकार वॉज अ फ्रेंच फिलोसोफर. एंड रेने देकार इंसिस्टेड on verifying the reliability of historical documents by critically examining them. What did he say? He insisted on verifying the reliability of historical documents by critically examining them. ये बहुत बड़ा सेंटेंस है. उसका मीनिंग सिंपल है. इट मेंट दैट नथिंग शुड बी एक्सेप्टेड एज द ट्रूथ until and unless all your doubts are sorted. Which means that students or people must ask questions, and only when you get sufficient answers or satisfactory answers, then you need to accept that specific thing as the truth. क्योंकि आज के ज़माने में कितनी फेक न्यूज़ चलती हैं, right? So it is very much relevant in today's times. So you cannot accept anything as the truth. You need to verify it, that whether what someone is saying something, is that the truth or not. Now René Descartes was also the author, and he has written various books, and one very famous book is Discourse on the Method. Now Discourse on the Method में इन्होंने ये पूरी चीज़ें बताई है, that how a specific thing has to be accepted as how we need to verify a specific document whether it is the truth or not, and so on. This entire thing about René Descartes can come as an important 2-mark answer. Moving on to the next philosopher, a very important name which I think many of you all must be aware or must have heard about him. His name was Voltaire, and he again was a French philosopher and a French writer, and he was one person whose writings have been very instrumental in sparking or starting the French Revolution of 1789. Although Voltaire died a year before the French Revolution, but his writings were very important in starting that revolution. तो अगर हमें वॉल्टायर को समझना है तो उसके पहले फ्रेंच रेवोल्यूशन ऑफ 1789 समझना बहुत ज़रूरी है. दिस वॉज अ very important event. Why it was an important event? Because it is termed as an epoch making event. What is an epoch making event? Those events that usher in a new time period in history are called as epoch making events. Time periods तीन होते हैं, हमने किए हैं previous sessions में, एंशंट, मिडिवियल एंड मॉडर्न. तो एपॉक मेकिंग इवेंट ऐसा होता है जो एक टाइम से दूसरे टाइम पीरियड में शिफ्ट हो जाता है, दैट अशर्स इन अ न्यू टाइम. बिकॉज टिल 1789 वी कैन से द पीरियड दैट वॉज गोइंग ऑन वॉज कॉल्ड एज मिडिवियल हिस्ट्री ऑफ यूरोप. 1789 ऑनवर्ड, यानी द मोमेंट द फ्रेंच रेवोल्यूशन स्टार्टेड, द मॉडर्न पीरियड वॉज ushered in. That is why it is called as an epoch making event. Now what was the French Revolution? It is simple. France in 1789 was under the control of an absolute monarchy. The Bourbon dynasty was in power and there was complete inequality in the society. The society was divided into three estates. जैसे हम इंडिया में बोलते हैं three different classes, upper class, middle class, lower class, right? Similarly in France you had the first estate, the second estate and the third estate. First estate consisted of the clergy members. Clergy members are the members of the Roman Catholic Church, यानी कि जहाँ सारे priests first estate में आते थे. Second estate consisted of the nobility, the noble lords or the feudal lords. There was a king who was ruling the entire nation. King के अंडर जो भी सारे feudal, जो भी officers थे और the ones who are actually ruling the country on behalf of the king, they were called as noble lords or feudal lords, and they came under the second estate called as nobility. By the way, the king was not part of this entire estate system. King and the royal family, they were kept apart from it. They were kept outside the estate system. तो first estate में आ गए आपके clergy members, second estate में आ गए आपके nobility, and then you have the third estate. All those who are not part of the first and second estate were part of the third estate. That means all the common people, all the commoners in France, maximum farmers, they were a part of the third estate. The first and second estate comprised of just 5% of the French population, but they owned more than 60% of the resources. Do your mathematics. The third estate comprised of 95% population and they were owning less than 40% of the resources. So this was the large scale inequality in distribution. कि वो 5% आबादी 60% संपत्ति पर कब्जा करे बैठे हुए हैं और जो असली लोग हैं फ्रांस के, उनके हाथ में कुछ नहीं था. In some places, poor farmers were believed to have paying around 80% of their income in the form of taxes. Apart from this, the members of the first and second estate were given certain concessions since they were born in that specific estate. They were exempted from the payment of taxes. यानी कि first और second estate taxes pay ही नहीं करेंगे. The entire burden of payment of taxes was on the third estate. That means in a country, the rich are not paying taxes, the poor are paying taxes. And in fact, the first and members of the first and second estate were getting money in the form of taxes from the third estate. So this was the large scale inequality that was happening in France. तो क्या होगा ultimately? Revolution was inevitable. Revolution had to occur. और वो revolution हुआ पूरा. And 1789 that led to an outburst. And ऐसा नहीं कि 1789 में revolution हो गया, within 1 year modern French Republic was formed. नहीं, it took a long time. Continuous revolutions came and went, and finally, after many decades, in 1848, the French Republic was proclaimed. अभी इसमें वोल्टायर का रोल क्या था? मेन टॉपिक पे आते हैं, वोल्टायर पे. This gentleman by the name of Voltaire, it's very funny, it's very ironic. He belonged to the second estate and he used to write against the second estate in favor of the common people. That means whatever writings were there, they were a critique, or he used to make fun of, or he used to attack the members of the second estate, and he also used to write against the church, against the clergy members. And that is why his writings were so revolutionary, and that is why people were able to relate with him, and that is why his writings also fueled the entire revolution. तो अभी वो था ही सेकेंड एस्टेट में, आप ही के परिवार का सदस्य है, तो आप उसको मार तो नहीं सकते हो. लेकिन वो कंटिन्यूसली आप पे अटैक कर रहा है, कंटिन्यूसली आपके अगेंस्ट लिख रहा है. सो व्हाट डिड द रिच पीपल ऑफ फ्रांस, व्हाट डिड द सेकंड एस्टेट, व्हाट डिड द नोबल्स डू? वोल्टायर को फ्रांस से उन्होंने भगा दिया. वोल्टायर वॉज एक्साइल्ड फ्रॉम फ्रांस, बट वोल्टायर सेड नो मैटर व्हाट हैपन्स, माई वर्क शुड कंटिन्यू. Even in exile, in other parts of Europe where he was exiled, he continued to write and attack the church and the nobility. So in that way, his writings were very, very instrumental in starting off the revolution. Though he was not alive at the time of revolution, he died a year before. He is considered to be a one very important person of the revolution. Now, Voltaire is also considered to be the father of modern historiography. जो भी अभी मॉडर्न करंटली आप हिस्ट्री पढ़ रहे हो, जिस तरह से टेक्स्ट बुक्स डिज़ाइन की जाती है, जिस तरह से सिलेबस डिज़ाइन किया जाता है, वो सब इन्हीं के थॉट प्रोसीजर से आया है. बिकॉज वोल्टायर सेड दैट हिस्ट्री इज़ नॉट ओनली अबाउट वॉर्स एंड रेवोल्यूशंस और पॉलिटिकल चेंजेस. येस, दीज थिंग्स आर वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. वॉर्स, रेवोल्यूशंस, पॉलिटिकल चेंजेस, दीज आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट इन हिस्ट्री. बट यही नहीं है. अलॉन्ग विद दीज थिंग्स, education, agriculture, economy, trade, commerce, industry, all these things also have to be included in history. Social changes, social life, cultural life, ये सब भी हिस्ट्री में इंक्लूड करना बहुत ज़रूरी है. तो आप लोग देखोगे आपका 9th स्टैंडर्ड का जो सिलेबस था वो पूरा इसी के बेस पे था. जो इनिशियल चैप्टर्स थे वो आपने इंडियन पॉलिटिकल सिनेरियो के बारे में देखा, वॉर्स विद पाकिस्तान के बारे में देखा, रिबेलियंस के बारे में देखा. And from chapter number 4 onwards, we started with the other things: economy, education, trade, commerce, science, technology, and so on. So even the history which we are studying, that is also very much inspired by what Voltaire had said. That is why he is considered to be the father of modern historiography. Now again, Voltaire is also a very important 2-mark answer. So in today's session, we have covered two very important philosophers. Both were French philosophers, René Descartes and Voltaire, and both can come as a very important 2-mark answer. So that's all for this session. We will continue next week. Thank you.